an impulse on the upside and has entered correction mode. It has recently broken down from a bearish flag pattern. So one can sell SDFC futures with stop loss of 792 for target of 740. Next one is Bob. Bob has recently completed a short-term pullback and has started correcting. And in today's session, it has broken its swing low and has started a fresh move on the downside. Overall, the stock is poised for a significant decline. And from trading perspective, stop loss for Bob futures will be 501 and target will be 465. The third one is NTPC. NTPC in the last session formed an engulfing bear candle on the daily chart, and as a follow-through, the stock is tumbling down. The short-term momentum indicators have given fresh sell signal. So one can initiate fresh short position here, and stop loss for NTPC futures will be 149 and target will be 138. And time frame for all these trades will be 2 to 3 sessions.
Gaurav, since you did mention quite a few banking stocks within your picks, what would be your overall assessment of the Bank Nifty? Because it has seen a good degree of underperformance so far. Do you think that this is likely to continue in the October series as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think, in fact, Bank Nifty will be the major contributor in Nifty to drag it down. And Bank Nifty, in terms of wave structure, has completed a fourth wave pullback and has started a fifth leg on the downside. And it is likely to test its recent lows. So I'm expecting at least 4 to 5% downside from current levels.
Okay, another steep fall is what Gaurav sees on the Bank Nifty as well, and those are the Bank Nifty losers for you. In fact, all the names as can be imagined today are trading in the red on the Bank Nifty. But we'll take a quick break then on that note, after that quick breather, we'll have two other experts as well joining in. Parag Doctor and Kunal Saragi are standing by with the top trading bets.
And keep the questions and queries coming in. We've got an email ID, bnsn@etnow.tv. You can also send us an SMS to 58888. That's the number on your screen. Do call in on 022-248-3711.
The question I'm asking today is, can India put an end to policy uncertainty?
There have been a few aberrations, not exactly the fiscal policy, but certain taxation statutes, but which have been rectified.
We have a large number of activists who will lobby the legislators. The legislators tend to uncritically accept each and every possible suggestion without going into the cost benefit.
Catch the first episode of 6 Questions for India with Punita Kumar Sinha. Only on ET Now.
Sun Pharma owns 50% market share in Doxil, and it's an authorized generic. The balance is actually held by J&J. J&J has now issues with its external contract manufacturer called Ben Vanu Labs. As far as analysts are saying on this drug, they're saying it's a big positive for Sun Pharma because they are the only authorized generic here.
The story impacts the stock. The story moves the markets.
An emerging market darling yesterday, a near basket case today. Has India as a market only flattered to deceive? How can the country regain its position as one of the most promising economies? What are the big questions that are unsettling global investors? ET Now presents you a series that answers the 6 most important questions for India's future. Catch 6 Questions for India with me, Punita Kumar Sinha, only on ET Now.
Presented to you by Rado.
Buying a home means opening the door to long-term financial commitment. Which location, project or builder are you going to put your money and trust into? We'll break down the fine print and help you make your dream come true. On the Property Guide, only on ET Now.
Presented to you by Nerolac XL with Weather Defense Formula. Powered by OLX.in, Bait Day. In association with Baba Ilaichi, the freshness of life. Polycab, India's #1 cables and wires company.
What if your portfolio could look into the future? What ideas will drive tomorrow's markets? Which trends and patterns will create opportunities? What will dictate the movement of the indices? Turn today's strategies into tomorrow's perfect opportunities. Catch markets tomorrow only on ET Now.
For over 100 million domains across the globe, if it's not a .com, it's got to be a .net. Big Rock .net websites start at just rupees 299.
InverSmart. New inverter batteries from Exide.
मुझे जाने दो साहिब।
जेवर जरा जेब में डाल के जाओ।
अगर आप मुसीबत में फंसी हैं, तो फोन करके शिकायत कर सकती हैं।
अंकल, क्यों?
अब सरकार ने वुमेन सेफ्टी के लिए 24-hour हेल्पलाइन शुरू किया है और कोने कोने में इंक्रीज्ड पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन।
खबरें बनती है आपकी पावर, इसलिए न्यूज नेशन पर हर खबर सोच समझकर।
इजी क्लीन वजह का नॉन स्टिक पेंट विद क्रॉस लिंकिंग पॉलीमर। दाग चिपकेगा नहीं, आसानी से जाएगा।
साफ हो गया, वॉल तो साफ हो गया। फिर तेरा
नो दाग, नो धब्बा, only beautiful walls.
When you buy insurance, do you have the time and energy to understand it? InsuringIndia.com, your solution to insurance.
Deep in the jungle of Mount Savino, we search for endangered animals which we may never see again. From a single strand of hair to the faintest wrinkle, UHD brings every detail to life before your very eyes. Discover true detail. Samsung UHD TV.
किधर हो तुम? आ रहा हूँ सर। मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन चाहिए अभी। Of course, sir.
हाई स्पीड इंटरनेट MTNL 3G के साथ। MTNL 3G सबके लिए।
As volatility grips the markets, find out which trading strategies you should bet on. Our guests for BNS and the stock game this week are Ashish Kapoor, Shrikant Chauhan and Vishal Malkan. Catch the thrilling game of portfolio building on BNS and the stock game only on ET Now.
Thanks for staying on with us on Traders 20.
Well, across the board, it's safe to say that there is a strong streak of red. So not just the frontliners, which are coming under a fair bit of pressure, courtesy the Bank Nifty, 57.67 on the Nifty. But you do also have the broader markets, which are showing you quite a bit of a red tick. But you can say that there is a mild degree of outperformance. So the cut isn't quite as severe for the broader end of the market, with the BSE small cap index declining something like 0.3% as we speak. But should pull up some of the stocks which are losing out today. You've got something like a Gitanjali Gems. Take a look at that one. And in fact, over the last 1 month has seen a massive cut of close to 30%. Apart from that, Walkhard also under a fair bit of pressure today, so deep in the red. You've also got an ABG Shipyard. Yes, we did flag off the fact that most of the shipping stocks had a pretty stellar run. But remember, ABG Shipyard was devoid of any volumes, and despite the fact that it declined, it gained something like 20% in the last 5 days, now the profit booking is kicking in. JM Financials also, I mean, that one keeps popping up on the losers list over the last 5 days. Also, it's seen a cut of almost 15%. BF Utilities too is currently looking a bit weak on the charts. On the upside though, let's point out some of the top gainers. You've got a 3i Infotech. In fact, when it comes to the small cap index, this is the only one which is showing you a double-digit tick. Yes, a very small base, but nonetheless up by 13%. You've got a Jet Airways, despite the fact that there has been a default notice on the company, it seems to be showing you a strong up move at 362. Something like a Moil, which is also holding up currently in the green, is looking pretty strong. You've got a TTK Prestige. Yes, the consumption basket as a whole has been looking fairly favorable, and today is no exception. And Adishman Pharma has had a pretty stellar month, gained something like 20%. Today is no exception. The counter is firmly in the green by a good 2.7%.
Okay, that's what the broader market picture is looking like at this point in time. Let's then bring on both Parag Doctor as well as Kunal Saragi, who are joining in on the show now. Turning out to be a rather weak day for the markets, of course. Parag, how would you be bracing yourself on the index positions as well as your top trading ideas?
Well, yes, good morning. Nifty has been on a weak wicket, and ever since we broke and closed below the 200-day average on Friday, further weakness has set in, and today there has been a follow-through on the downside. So we are looking at probably the 5,700 mark or so before the Nifty stabilizes. As far as the stock ideas go, we have 2 sell calls and 1 buy idea. The first sell idea is on Bharat Heavy Electricals, BHEL. This stock had a false breakout on the upside above 145, and now it has again started a short-term downtrend. There looks to be heading to around the 127 to 130 mark, and it can be sold with a stop loss of 142. The second sell idea is in the financials, LIC Housing Finance. Again, this stock topped out around the 200 mark. It started short-term downtrend, and the stop loss for the short position is 194, which is above the short-term resistances, and it's heading for the 180 mark in the short term and could head even towards 175 or so. The buy idea is on Aurobindo Pharma. The pharma space is a good defensive sector for the time being, and Aurobindo Pharma has shown strength by breaking past the old resistance, which was there around the 195 to 200 mark. It's making a fresh 52-week high, and the stock is headed to around 215 mark in the immediate term. Stop loss for the trade is 197. In the medium term, Auro Pharma could go even as high as the 230 mark.
Okay, a marginal defensive tilt on the long side when it comes to Parag's picks, where he's shorting BHEL and LIC Housing Finance. Kunal Saragi also joins in on the show to give us his top trading recommendations. Kunal, before we start off with your individual picks, what would be the call on the Nifty futures just about holding on to that 5,800 mark? Do you think that we are likely to see a downward bias now, continuing?
I would imagine so, Avan. If you look at the overall structure, markets definitely are in a correction mode. If you look at the run that we saw between Nifty being at 5150, it went all the way till 6,000, almost beyond 6,000, and now it's beginning to correct. I think it might correct 50% of that move, and 50% of that move would take it to 5,700. So I think there is some bit of downside waiting for us, and it might actually get worse before it gets any better. As for stocks, some of the stocks where you could look to trade, Lupin, I think, definitely is one stock where one could still buy. This stock has held out, and I think pharma space is the only space where you can bet on at the moment. That is the only space which looks good. Lupin has consolidated for an extended period of time, and now I think it's prime for a breakout. One could look at a target of about 890 on Lupin, but one must remember to put a stop loss just shy of 860. The other stocks, of course, are short ideas. I've got a sell idea on Indian Overseas Bank. This stock hasn't corrected as much as the rest of the banks have, but now has a head and shoulders pattern on its daily chart, and it's sure to go down a bit more. A target could be close to about 42 rupees. A stop loss, I think, would be in the region of 45.30. The other stock I would like to sell is IFCI. Now, this is a hugely over-owned stock that has a huge retail participation, and I think that a lot of these longs would actually scramble to exit. The stock could slide to 21, but one must put a stop loss close to about 20 to 30, just in case.
Okay, shorting ideas coming in, and of course banks once again, and financials, and pharma. You've got quite a few long recommendations coming in today on that particular pocket. But let's focus in on how commodities as well are doing right now. You've of course seen a lot of volatility over the last week, 10 days in this basket as well. And Manisha Gupta, commodities editor, is right here with us for the latest. Manisha.
Megha, thank you so much for that. As in all asset classes, the commodities also are watching the U.S. political budget wranglings, which are threatening a U.S. government shutdown. And ahead of that, you haven't seen too much of long positions coming in for the raw materials and industrial commodities. The only thing that is holding in the green really is the gold prices. Safe haven buying is coming in for this one. And you have seen reports of physical and paper buying coming in gold, and that has been supportive. Also, if you look at the CFTC data, the long positions in the previous week have gained up by 12%. In the Indian markets, in the meanwhile, it's flat to negative that you have seen trades coming in for the market, even as the rupees depreciated by nearly 0.5%. Not too much of an upside calculation coming in for this space. The silver prices, in the meanwhile, have actually declined by nearly 0.5% on your screens there. The major declines are coming in for the energy space. Remember, this one had run up in the month of August on the back of those geopolitical concerns from Syria, Libya, Iran and everything. And all of that seems to have turned around at this point in time. Adding to that, you have seen the US inventories also gain up